All right, you guys. So it is your boy Ticket. Salute to everybody tapping on in. We're gonna get right into this video, man, and talk about this. And that is this situation going on with Brendan Paul, man. And this is a very, very, very crazy situation that's going on because of the simple fact that Brendan Paul is basically being, being called a flat out liar, right? Brendan Paul is basically being called out for being a liar and perjuring himself on the stand in Diddy's trial. Now, if you guys remember, Brendan Paul was the guy who was caught originally with Diddy at the airport. He had that stuff on him, apparently. He got the charges dropped. Some people say he took a plea, which we know he did because he testified for the government to prevent himself from getting prosecuted. But now he has been accused of lying and perjuring himself on the stand to help Sean Diddy Combs. And so now he is in a serious shitload situation because the guy who's accusing him is saying he lied about a lot of things. Now, the man who is accusing him and saying that he's lying is basically accusing Brendan Paul not only of perjuring himself on the stand, but he's saying that Brendan Paul, he lied about the time that he said that he met Diddy. Basically, he's saying that he met Diddy in 2015. He's also, and I'm gonna say this again, Zay Savage, because I don't want to. What you think this is? I have to speak on something I don't want to have to speak on. If I don't want to speak about it, I don't have to speak about it. Point blank, period. What you think this is, bro? I talk about stuff on my channel that I want to talk about. If I don't want to talk about something, I ain't gonna talk about it. Period. And it is what it is. If you don't like it, I mean, you already know what you can do. I want to talk about this straight up. You got a problem with it? Get the stepping, nigga. Ain't no problem around here, playboy. So, like I said before I was rudely interrupted by a shit stain. Um, this guy y'all see on y'all screen, and he has been accused of perjuring himself on the stand. You understand what I'm saying? Um, and so he's being accused of lying about, how long he's known Diddy. He's being accused of lying about his role in, drug distribution, um, and other things. And the reason why y'all see this picture right here, and you see this things pointing on his face, the arrows, is because in this man's statement, he made some shocking claims in his statement. He says that he tried to, once he heard Brendan Paul's testimony at Diddy's trial, he said he immediately tried to inform the court and inform the FBI that this guy's testimony was false. He says that he tried to have that presented in the courts, but it was ignored by the federal government. So he says this is the reason why he has now filed this paperwork and asked for an immediate evidentiary hearing. Now he wants an immediate hearing where Brendan Paul is made to be forced to come present in the court of law in order to explain all of the things that he is basically accusing Brendan Paul of. Now, first of all, he says that he is over the age of 18 and he is, contempt to testify. And he's saying that he's making this declaration voluntarily based on his personal knowledge to correct and supplement the record in the above captioned New York City matter. Now, in the declaration, he says this declaration impeaches sworn testimony given by Brendan Paul, who y'all see on y'all screen, on or about June the 20th, 2025, and memorializes that I instructed my then attorney, Travis Walker, to present this evidence to the proper New York court and to refer it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. Now, he says, to my knowledge, is what he says, to my personal knowledge, right? He says, to my knowledge, those instructions were not carried out. So he says that the lawyer didn't do what he asked him to do, depriving the court and, he says, the federal authorities of material, case critical information and impeding the administration of justice, he says. Now, he says that in the early morning hours of April the 3rd, 2015, in Deerfield Beach, Florida. He said he personally observed this man on your screen, Brendan Paul, arrive under the cover of darkness in an overnight ride from Ohio on a high performance motorcycle. Now, he says that this guy described traveling at extremely high speeds of up to approximately 200 miles per hour. He says, I then personally witnessed Brendan Paul, who downplayed his role in drug trafficking in the Diddy trial, on a stand for the government. He downplayed his role. He said, I personally witnessed Mr. Paul receive a shipment of 2 kilos of narcotics, 1 kilo of the C word, and 1 kilo of what he thought was meth. Now, he says, from a man named Eric Mejias, a known supplier. Now, he says the price of $20,000 had been discussed in advance, is what he said. Now, he says that no money was exchanged at the handoff, consistent with the established delivery system, rather than a casual one-off transaction. Now, he says that my presence, Brendan Paul on your screen, discussed prior and future deliveries and described specific evasion methods, including A, using thermal blankets to obscure signatures from aerial or roadside detection, B, diverting into ravines and wooded area using motorcycles off-road capabilities if spotted by the Florida Highway Patrol, and C, pre-planned routes and timing to avoid law enforcement. Now, he says that Brendan Paul admitted that he got the job through Christian Combs via Instagram, and that he described his role as a transporter. Now, he said these statements and the observed conduct are consistent with organized drug trafficking activity, not personal use or casual involvement. Now, he says that same night, later on, after the drug drop off, he says he observed Brendan Paul inside the event where he was sexually tortured. He said, I first saw his reflection in a mirror, is what he saw. This is his complete statement right here. And I'm going to tell y'all why his statement was important and what I saw today. He says, in a mirror turned, and then I saw him in person laughing and jeering while Sean Combs and Jayz used a black rubber fist to violently assault me. Now, he says that I confirmed Mr. Paul's identity by his distinctive fang piercings under his chin, which were fresh and oozing, and which he said were illegally performed by a friend at a tattoo shop. Now, Mr. Paul asked for a napkin to clean those wounds, and Mr. Eric Mejias provided it. This interaction occurred in Deerfield Beach, Florida, on April the 3rd, 2015, confirming Mr. Paul's physical presence in Florida that night. Well, those pictures from his mugshot came up, and I'll be damned. On the left was a picture from his mugshot when he was arrested at the airport. On the right is one side of his face when he went to court to testify a few months ago for the government, in which he now is being accused of perjury. The man said at that time that this dude had oozing coming out of his chin from fresh tattoos, what he called fangs, not tattoos, but piercings. Well, if you look right there on the face, I don't know what that is on Brendan Paul's face, but those are some distinctive marks. And this guy's story, well, that's a big major clue he put inside this. And when I went and looked at those pictures, and I looked and I saw those imprints on that boy's face, I sat back and said, damn, what the hell? And so now this guy is accusing this man of not only perjuring himself on the stand, man, he also accused Brendan Paul of selling drugs to unders, to people who are not of age at school. Just crazy work, man. Crazy work. And he wants an immediate evidentiary hearing. He wants to have an evidentiary hearing immediately. And not only does he want to have this evidentiary meeting immediately, he wants uh, not only to have that meeting, but he wants all relevant, right? Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly what he said he wants. He wants them to accept it. He wants the judge to immediately accept the declaration for filing a supplement for the record. He wants to set an evidentiary hearing focused on the credibility of Brendan Paul, right there on your screen. He wants to issue preservation directives for relevant communications, devices, and Instagram records involving Brendan Paul, Diddy's son Christian Combs, and Eric Macias, and others named herein, meaning Jay-Z and Diddy. He also wants to refer the matter as appropriate to law enforcement and prosecutorial authorities, including the FBI and the Southern District of New York. Penalty of perjury verification, he says, and he says he declares under the penalty of perjury that the foregoing statements that he has just made are true and correct. Wow, bro. Wow, man. So he is saying that this guy perjured himself, and he is saying one big clue that that guy was there at that time was he says that that guy had freshly oozing from those piercings that he had gotten. And he said that those piercings were oozing out of this guy's chin. Oozing. And that Mr. Macias got a napkin to clean it up. Now he's saying that this guy right here on your screen, and I looked at those pictures. I said, well, this is easily provable whether he's lying or not. Because you can look right on his chin and see if there was any piercings. I looked right on this boy's chin from the mugshot and from the day he went to court. The right side is the day he went to court to testify. If you can see that little mark, that mark is distinct down there. And that's not like a bump or meat or something that's not like a pimple or nothing. Because remember, that shot that's on the left hand side of your screen, that was taken way before. That was taken months and months and months before. Months before that was taken. You know what I mean? That was taken. Crazy work. So they want an emergency hearing off this right now. Emergency hearing. So y'all see right there. Y'all see what's going on, man. It is on and cracking, you guys. In this situation, man, we're gonna find out real fast that they're gonna give him an emergency hearing. He wants an emergency hearing, you guys. And that is crazy work, man. And if the court grants this emergency hearing, and that was one big clue that he left inside of his thing, because a lot of people are saying, well, Brendan Paul said he didn't meet Diddy until he got a job. Well, that's what Brendan Paul said. But this guy says that Brendan Paul was around in 2015, and he says that he knew and he remembered distinctively from those fangs on this guy's chin. He said he distinctively knew from those fangs on his chin. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what that is on Brendan Paul's chin, but I'll let y'all take a guess. And if the judge sees that, which he probably will, because this guy submitted this paperwork, it is going to be one of those situations, you guys, where it is going to be very, very, very hard to downplay this. This is going to be one of those ones that is going to be, and I'm going to tell y'all something. In the penalty of perjury, meaning that if they prove that Brendan Paul lied under oath, because this guy, he wants an evidentiary hearing, meaning he wants to present evidence in court that this guy lied. If he gets that hearing and he presents evidence that this guy lied under oath, it could mess up an entire case. As a matter of fact, I want to look up this right now to tell you guys. If a witness, and I'm going to look this up right now and tell you guys what's going on. If a witness, hold on, if a witness in a federal case, if a government, if a government witness if a federal witness lies, right, in a federal case, uh, I'm gonna find out, can the verdict be overturned? Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, y'all. So guess what, y'all? So I just looked this up, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, right? Here's the problem that Diddy's gonna have. That's a major problem. I'm gonna show y'all right now, right? If he gets this hearing, I'm gonna say it again. If he gets this hearing, right, and it's found out that this guy lied under oath, let me say it again. If it's found out that he lied under oath, right, the verdict can be overturned. Once again, the verdict can be overturned if he lied under oath. So that's the situation. So hold on, let me put this on the screen for y'all. Hold on one second, you guys. Put this on the screen for everybody. My bad, y'all. I'm gonna put this on the screen because I don't want nobody to say I'm in here making something up. I don't know what I'm talking about. This, that, the third. I don't want none of that. Let me put this on the screen for you guys right now, so everybody can see what I'm talking about. And y'all smash the like button as y'all come on in, bro. As y'all come on in, smash that like button. Here we go. Put on the screen for y'all. So as y'all see right there, it says it right there on the screen. It says yes. A verdict in a federal case can potentially be overturned if issues arise with a government witness, but it depends on specific circumstances and legal grounds. Here are the key scenarios where a witness related issue might lead to overturning a verdict. You know what I mean? Now, let's get to this, right? Let's get to this, right? One, perjury or false testimony. If a government witness is found to have knowingly provided false testimony that materially affected the case's outcome, the defense can file a motion for a new trial, right? But hold on, I'm talking about government witness. Government witness. The defense can file a motion for a new trial or appeal the verdict. Courts may overturn a verdict, right? Let me see. If the prosecution knew or should have known about the perjury and failed to correct it. All right, hold on one second, y'all. I'm reading something. Hold on one second. Hold on, y'all. I want to get if a government witness, right? If a government witness, right? I think it said it backwards as far as, um, uh, hold on. I got to put it. Let me put it differently, because the way it says it is like if a government witness, and then it flips it. So let me say it differently. Hold on 1 second, you guys. All right, hold on, y'all. I'm almost finding it. See, I'm trying to get it in reversal because the way the system's set up. All right, you guys. All right, I found it now. All right. So basically, um, let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to put it so that it will say. So if a government witness in a federal case, if a government witness, hold on, lies, hold on, for the defense. That's what I meant to put in a federal case. Let me see. All right. Yes, it could be overturned. So let me read this to you guys. All right. Let me explain to you guys. I got it right now. So yes, it can be overturned. Okay. So basically, it's saying that, and now I got it right. It says if a government witness lies in a way that benefits the defense in a federal case, the verdict could potentially be overturned, but it's less common and depends on specific circumstances. Now here's the breakdown: impact on fairness of the trial. Now let's get into this, right? It's very important. This, what we talking about right here, is very important for this trial. Very important. Okay, you guys. So everybody, I want everybody to understand this right now. Very important stuff that I'm reading to y'all. All right. So the impact on fairness on the trial. Basically, if the government witness's false testimony significantly influenced the jury's decision in favor of the defense, the prosecution might argue that the verdict was tainted. For example, if the witness deliberately misrepresented evidence to undermine the government's case, the prosecution could file, right, a motion for a new trial under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 33, citing newly discovered evidence or misconduct. Now, what does that mean? That means that Brendan Paul testimony, in a lot of people's eyes, helped downplay the RICO of Diddy, because he said on the stand that he was really didn't see himself as a drug dealer. He really wasn't transporting drugs and this, that, and the third. Well, this guy says he was, and he says he was transporting keys. That's what this guy said, right? He said he was transporting keys, and he's a witness to it. And he said that he instructed his lawyer to inform the feds about this during the case, and his lawyer didn't do it. So he's doing it right now, right? And he wants an immediate evidentiary hearing where the evidence can be presented to his claims in court. And also, he says he wants that the feds search all their phone records and their social media records pertaining to this time in order to help validate some of his claims, right? Now, also it says, it, let me see, that says that the lie must be material, meaning it likely affected the verdict. Well, a lot of people would think that his testimony affected that RICO verdict because Brendan Paul was a big part of this. Remember, people thought that he was going to come in and be the guy who said, yeah, I transported the drugs and stuff like that. And all they had to do was find two with Diddy. That's all they had to do was find two. And also, Brendan Paul said that he never witnessed the free calls. He just was there afterwards. Well, this guy says he's a liar. He says he did witness the freak off. In fact, he said he witnessed this freak off that same night that he made the drug transaction that had keys involved, right? Where he says that that same night that he witnessed that, he says that he was the one that was being sexually assaulted. And this is where he claims that it was Diddy and Jay-Z that sexually assaulted him. Now, I know Jay-Z lawyer is going to go insane, and so is Diddy's. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go irate about this. But this guy, he wants an immediate hearing of this right now. He wants an immediate hearing based off of this. And so this is one of those situations, man, where if they find out that this guy lied on the stand, I'm going to tell y'all, I can see a new trial coming up. I can see a new trial. I legitimately can see a new trial if they find out he lied on the stand. And I know a lot of people won't want to hear that, but it's true. If they find out he lied on the stand, well, I mean, there ain't pretty much two more left to say. Because if they go to a retrial with a new jury, you understand what I'm saying? And now this guy is caught perjuring himself on the stand. What is that going to make all these other people look like? Bro, man, listen, bro. This is big. I don't think people are really taking this as big as they should take this. And the reason why I say that, he specifically mentioned those things oozing from this guy. Now, this was in 2015. The piercings. So what would piercings in your chin, 2 piercings, he said, like horn type piercings in his chin, what would that look like 10 years ago? Would it look like that picture right there in the mugshot? How long are those piercings look like they've been healed for? He specifically put that in his report. And that is going to be something, in my opinion, that sticks out. You can see it right there. Read the second paragraph. He said, I confirmed Mr. Paul's identity by his distinctive fang piercings under his chin, which were fresh oozing, and which he said were illegally performed by a friend at a tattoo shop. Mr. Paul asked for a napkin to clean the wounds, and Eric Mejias provided it. This interaction occurred in Deerfield Beach, Florida, on April the 3rd, 2015, confirming Mr. Paul's physical presence in Florida that night. This is bad news, man. This is very bad news for Brendan Paul, in my opinion. And depending on what the judge thinks, will the judge call this hearing to question Brendan Paul? And now you have a whole new person running this thing as far as the Southern District of New York. It ain't that Maureen Comey lady no more. It's Donald Trump's guy, and he's been going hard at Diddy. And so here's the question. Do they try to call Sean Carter and Sean Combs up there to testify? This guy says he wants all those dudes to be forced to go testify. You don't got to believe me. It's right here in the paperwork. Where did I put that part at? It's in the paperwork. Read the last line right there on your screen. Matter of fact, let me do y'all a solid and blow that up so you can see what I'm talking about. But this guy has demanded an emergency hearing is what he has asked for. And I'm going to blow this up for you guys just to show y'all what this guy said and why this could get very, very serious for Sean Diddy Combs. Very serious. And Jay-Z as well. Because now you ain't talking about civil. Everybody keeps talking about civil. This ain't civil. This guy's talking criminal, you guys. Y'all smash the like button. This ain't civil. He talking criminal now because he's saying that Brendan Paul perjured himself, right? He's saying Brendan Paul perjured himself in a court of law. That is going to be something that sticks out like a sore thumb if it's proven to be true. And matter of fact, let me show y'all on the screen what I'm talking about. If this guy gets this hearing, you guys, this is not going to end well. And I want to show you guys right now on the screen, I'm going to show you guys exactly what this guy requested. Here it is. And you can read the last line yourselves. He says, why this matters. The scale, 2 kilos. Planning, extra routes and evasion. Recruitment channel, Christian Combs via Instagram. Role description, transporter. An admission about selling bleep to you-know-whats together contradict any portrayal of casual or personal use activity that this guy testified to in court, which would have substantially hurt their verdict for the RICO. Also, it says the facts warrant impeachment of Mr. Paul's testimony and referral for potential perjury and obstruction related offenses and for investigation into a coordinated trafficking enterprise. Wow. Requested court actions. He said, accept this declaration for filing and supplement the record. 2, set an evidentiary hearing. Focus on the credibility of Brendan Paul. So he wants to enter evidence to focus on the credibility of this guy, Brendan Paul, the white guy, this guy right here, with them 2 little marks on his chin that look like they've healed up over years. And also, he says to issue preservation directives for relevant communications, devices, and Instagram records involving Brendan Paul, Christian Combs, Eric Mejias, and others named herein. And number 4, refer the matter as appropriate to the federal law enforcement and prosecutorial authorities, including the FBI and the Southern District of New York. And he declares this under the penalty of perjury. This will go under the same judge because this is all the same case. He said, I declare under the penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on September the 10th, 2025 at Lake Clark Shores, Florida. And this would be under the same judge because all this is under Judge Armed Submarinian. So he would be the one that would have to accept this guy's claim and file that hearing. The fact that this dude said, and again, I was thinking this dude was capping at first, but the fact that he talked about those fang piercings on this dude from 10 years ago, and the fact that I looked at his mugshot, and the first thing I seen from his mugshot, I said, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. And then I went and looked to the day he went to court. And I looked down and I said, well, damn. I'll be damned. I asked myself, did this kid lie about when he knew Diddy? Not only did he lie, did he did he lie about it? I asked, did he lie about his role in drug transportation? Because remember, they made it seem like it was minimal. It was just personal use. It wasn't this. This guy says, no, they was pushing keys, is what this guy says. And he says that he wants the evidentiary hearing right now in court. He wants that hearing. And I'm going to tell y'all something. If he gets that hearing to where they display the evidence in court, they may overturn this entire trial and run it back with Diddy. And now Brendan Paul may be facing serious Fed time for lying under oath. Crazy work. We're going to have to see if the judge is going to accept this and demand an immediate evidentiary hearing. We're going to have to see. This is a big one right here, y'all, that everybody's not talking about. And I had to double back today because I said, this dude capping. But then when he said those fangs, I said, well, there's only one way to prove he's telling the truth about those fangs. And that's just look at the picture. And when I looked at it, y'all, and I saw what I saw, I could not believe my eyes. Wow. And to the person who says there can't be double jeopardy, you're wrong, sir. In a federal case, and for government witness lies to help the defense, and their lie help the defense win the case ruling can be overturned, and there will be a retrial. That, sir, is the law. You don't have to believe me. You can go look in the law book yourself and read it yourself, sir. You don't have to be upset with me or question me when I come with A1 information, sir. I was never capping, buddy. I was never capping. Pick your poison. See, this is why it's always important to do research, right? To do research. And to the person who says vetting, you can do as much vetting as you want to do. But if a person goes on a stand and willfully lies on the stand, even though they've done all the vetting they can do, they still lie. Well, and it's proven that they lied. Well, that's another thing within itself. This situation has gotten crazy. Less than a month before Diddy's sentencing. Lord have mercy. Let's see what the judge says about this, because that is going to be very important to me, is to see what the judge says about this. And if the judge accepts the motion for an immediate evidentiary hearing into Brendan Paul, we will see. It's been filed. You guys can see officially in the courts. Top of your screen. This blew my mind when I saw this. I never expected to see this. And he says that Brendan Paul was not only that, he was a witness, so the feds could really go try to put the squeeze on Brendan Paul. See, this is the part y'all don't understand. The feds can go pick up Brendan Paul right now and put the squeeze on him and say, boy, let me tell you something. You got up on that stand and you lied and we got proof, you're going to prison. They can hit that dude for, man, bro, so many years where that boy gonna fall, he gonna cry like a little, man, what? See, there's all types of shit they can do to get you in that room. So this is gonna be one of them ones, man, to see. Now I'm gonna ask y'all in this comment section, how many people in this comment section think that Brendan Paul lied on the stand? If you think that Brendan Paul lied on the stand under oath, press 1. Or let me know in the comment section if you think he lied. Tell me why you believe he lied in that comment section. If you think he did. If you think he told the truth, tell me that in the comment section as well. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. I'm gonna read all the comments because I want to see what people think. And y'all need to tell me, if y'all think he lied, tell me why you think he lied. If you think he told the truth, tell me why you think he told the truth. Right? Shout out to the brother Xavier. with a $40 donation in the Cash App too. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Y'all let me know what y'all feel. Like, share, subscribe. Hey, I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the network. Like, share, and subscribe. Once again, there are links. Get the free membership on our website. That way you guys won't miss any of our news update stories or videos. They're all on the website, ticketvmedia.com. You go over there. You can go right to the members part and become a free member. That way you guys will get all the updates. Also, straight drought weight loss formula. Make sure y'all go tap in and copy some of that, as well as subscribing to our podcast show. Link will be pinned at the top of the chat down there below. And also, we just appreciate all y'all who support the channel. Cash App, PayPal.